As a CEO of my family business, upper-end men's and women's clothing stores in Connecticut and Long Island. And I'm thrilled to be here, yes, as an author. Hug Your Customers. And now my new book, Hug Your People. My new hugging book is really, it's a business blueprint of how you hire the right people and educate them thoughtfully and treat them thoughtfully to have a culture, a caring culture for you and your associates, the huggers, the employees, and for Payless. That I am a real retailer, as Matt said, and I think many of you know that I always wear my tape. This is a symbol. I wear the tape on the selling floor at Richards, so if you come Saturday, if you happen to be in the New York area, come on into Richards. You'll see me on the selling floor. I wear this tape so that you can understand that the ideas that I'll be sharing with you this afternoon and the ideas in my book are real-life examples. These ideas are here, have worked for us in our family business for over 50 years, and I really believe many of them will work for you. Now, why did I write a second book? The first book was fun. It sold a lot of copies, thanks to lovely people like Matt Rebell and others, and all of you. You'll see every time I do a presentation like this, and it happened 2 years ago, and we'll have question and answers later, opportunity to get some dialogue going. Every time I have a speech and we do a question and answer, the very first question, the very first one is, Jack, how in the heck do you make your people be huggers? How do you make them be nice to people? How do you get them to trust you? How do you make them do that? And I sort of chuckle now because I say to them, well, we don't make anybody do anything. We sort of buy the people that way. We hire them that way. And you see, I say it's all about how you hire and treat your people, your associates, your huggers, as I like to call them. And then I began to think I should really write another book. I should explode the section in my first book, which is called The Big Secret. In the people business. You are in the people business. The power of the people are unbelievable when you think about each and every day you go to work. We're all about the people who deliver the extraordinary customer service, and then you deliver the products. Again, the same paradigm I said to myself as I began to think about the second book. The big secret. The big secret, of course, was how do you hire and inspire your employees? And you may remember I had 4 criteria in that chapter. The first one I said you had to have honest people that you hire. The second thing we needed the criteria had to do, they had to be positive. The third, they had to be competent and self-confident, what they did. And the fourth one, and I always felt this was the most important, still think it's a very important one, they had to have a passion to listen, learn, and grow to be the very best. The next principle, of course, you work into the idea of trust. You have to be trusting in the relationships with your people. You know, during the interviewing process, and again, in my book, I have about 5 or 6 or 7 key questions that I sort of like to do probing within the interviewing process. And one of the questions I always ask, what do you do for fun? And you'd be surprised when people get that question, they don't quite know how to handle it. And they start telling you, I like to be with my family, I like to go to football games, I like to travel, I like to watch television. You probe a little bit and you find out a little bit about them. And then you go there, well, you like to travel, fine. Where have you been? Well, I've been to Kansas City, I've been to New York, I've been to Cambodia. My goodness, Cambodia. Well, I happen to have had a son, just went to Cambodia. So you start talking about Cambodia and you learn what's important to them, and there's give and take in the dialogue. And all of a sudden there begins to be this openness, this candor, this beginning of trust between the two in the interviewing process. And you see, all of a sudden we talk about, somebody might say, well, what are the rules and regulations here? And as Matt indicated by the introduction, I don't believe in rules at all. I think rules sound like you're going to go to prison. You know, obviously you're not going to steal, but beyond that, it's setting the right standards, the right expectations, somehow personalize the relationship with passion, with each and every person that you have working for you or with you. So when you go to your stores, they know you and you know them. It's enormously, and it builds a trust between you two. And then when you come in, you're coming in not to check up on them, but you're checking in. The whole chapter in my book is very different mentality. As Matt said, it's very subtle, the difference between checking up and checking in. So just try to have that. You want to say, how can I help? What's going on here? How can I be a help? That's checking in. If you're checking up, I want to see the numbers. I want to see how many pairs of shoes you put in the top row. All the things that you know they should be doing. And about a week later, after she was hired, she came to me. She said, Jack, this is unbelievable. She said, I can be myself. She said, I had no idea. It's like coming from a third world country to a democracy. She said, you know how the third world countries are, and it was a fine place that I worked. I got paid, you know, but I never spoke up. Nobody asked me my opinion. Nobody got me involved. Nobody trusted my ideas. But I thought it was the way all retail worked. Here, she said, from the very beginning, people were asking me, well, what do you think? How can I help? What ideas do you have to make the business better? And all of a sudden, I became friends, would you believe, with my colleague in the Hermes department. She was helping me. She was not only helping me with the product Hermes, which is obviously a luxe product, and why a handbag should be worth $8,000 or $30,000. Can you imagine a handbag, $30,000? We sell them, you know. Anyway, so she said, no, but Janet helped me with my daughter. She had made some suggestions in school with us. And then, of course, that moves right into the idea of including people. We really believe in this idea of being included. It's the idea, of course, it's the power of all of us, the power of all of you. It's just, you know, Chris last night, I was sitting next to Chris, you know, and he was talking about the success of the Brighten Smiles program. And he was the first one to say, I couldn't have done it myself. I needed other people, needed the power of all of the strengths of all of you to make that program successful. So when you have that attitude, that's the power of all of us. You find the people within your company, your organization, that have strengths that can give you that extra effort, and you include them in the process of change. These three gentlemen, Jeff, Frank, and John Hickey, came over with us. And after our family made the presentation that people were not going to lose their jobs, that we needed them, the future was going to be bright, they could trust us, we were going to be there, we were going to make this business grow and sing and re-energize it. Then these three gentlemen, they said the same thing. They said, believe in the Mitchells. Believe in the Mitchells, that you can trust them. John Hickey, I remember he said to me, he said, you've hit the trifecta. He said, it's unbelievable. He said, you know, first of all, you're going to have more fun, you're going to have more customers, and you will earn a lot more money. And then we, of course, we went over to a local restaurant, and we had fun. We had a few beers, we had a few wines, a few Pellegrino or whatever, and we got together and we included everyone. And of course, before then, we had all of us, all the Mitchells, all our senior management, and John and Jeff and Frank had gone over the list of every single associate there, had profiled them, had gotten a little bit of information about every single one, tried to memorize their names, tried to personalize the relationship. And we went from table to table, and we introduced ourselves, and we tried to make them feel part of this extended family. That human connection by including other people, the power of all of us. The final guiding principle for me is all about recognizing your associates and your employees. Of course, you have to pay people, but it's more than the money. I find the money is not the most important, anytime the most important recognition. It's really finding out and digging in what's important for each and every person that works with you, and then giving them that appreciation. Build on people's strengths. I know you've heard this before, but it's so important. In your reviews with people in the stores, the most important thing is to praise people, and praise people for what they're doing right. Find what their natural talents are, and give them jobs, and give them responsibility, and praise them for their strengths. And don't get hung up on their weaknesses. Can everybody do me one more favor? To me, most of the hugs that are free and easy to deliver. Can we just try everybody stand up, right? And to your neighbor next to you, a high five. How about a hug if you feel like it? Doesn't that feel great? Get that human feeling and think how it feels.